So I've left it later than usual to make a video, so I'm just gonna fly through this. This is just another little Drachenfest kind of details video. I'll link the last one of these I did here, or if you're on your phone or something, it'll be in the description below. So one of the more kind of confusing things, and one of the more common questions I get asked about Drachenfest is about the camps. So basically there's a whole fuck ton of camps, and they all mean different things, and they have kind of a different theme to each one. To be honest, each one is pretty vague in their theme, but it would tend to be a pretty important choice which camp you're in. If you're looking to come along to Drachenfest, choosing your camp definitely shouldn't be a kind of like, that one, fuck it, kind of choice. And like, a certain camp might not let you camp with them if you don't fit in with the theme too much. So I have a whole list of the camps and stuff, and like a little description of each one, and hopefully that'll give you guys a bit of a better idea of where you'd want to stay, or kind of what the camps are about. One of the more important things to note about Drachenfest is it is a contest. It's a competition of all these different camps. There's a bit of like a story type thing in there where at like the beginning of time, there were dragons. And basically, the dragons were so fucking powerful that if they all fought each other, they would just like destroy everything. So what they ended up deciding to do was having a place where they could like sponsor camps that would fight in their name. Whichever camp won, that dragon would be in charge for the following year. The first one we'll talk about is Gold Camp, because that's where I stay. The main theme for Gold is like justice. I think that gives a lot of people the impression that Gold Camp is just kind of like goody goodies. Like they only do good and they don't do anything bad, and it's all about everyone gets treated fairly. Sort of a little bit true in some cases. Even though Gold Camp would be more about like justice and stuff like that, their main like catchphrase is, what the fuck? I nearly got hit by a bird. No, that's not the catchphrase. That's literally, I nearly just got hit by a bird right now. Gold Camp almost got hit by a bird. The main kind of catchphrase Gold Camp has is light and shadow. So they understand that justice isn't always legal. Kind of like sometimes you have to go outside of the law type of thing to do the right thing. So there are like assassins and stuff like that at Gold Camp. They're just not super in your face. They're good guys with a dark side. Right, next up is Red Camp. Red Camp, I always get the impression they're pretty straightforward. They're just more all orientated towards fighting. But in saying that, they're a sound bunch of lads. Like for example, a lot of the leaders of the other camps, like the avatars, they'll walk around with these big staffs that are like in keeping with their camp's theme. But Red Camp, their avatar walks around with a big fuck off sword, because that's just what they're all about. Then there's Black Camp, which, you know, it's not that kind of a I don't like how they said black, no. Which tends to be like power, I think, is the theme. Although they, I think, focus more on magic. So it's kind of like magic slash power. There's be like a lot of like magicians and sorcerers and like magical creatures living in Black Camp. I always get the impression that Black Camp is kind of like, are we good guys? Are we bad guys? Good guys. Like they're kind of indifferent. In saying that, that's about all I know about Black Camp. If anyone else has any information about any of these camps, feel free to leave a comment down below. Then there's Copper Camp, which is the nearest thing to a non-playing character camp. As in like they're just like generic go-to bad guys. And the whole thing with Copper Camp is that the dragon that they represent is supposed to be like the oldest one, but he's kind of an asshole, so no one really likes them that much. Their whole theme is kind of like order and like unity, which sounds kind of like let's all work together, but it kind of just turned them into racists. Not out of character, but just in character. Copper Camp don't like other species or like elves or anything. They'll just run out and beat the shit out of them if they see them. They also have hot tubs in their camp, so if you stay with them, you know, perks. But one of the more like interesting camps that is in hold on, we're gonna go cross country here. We're gonna go cross country. One of the more kind of interesting camps to me is Green Camp, weirdly enough. And the whole thing with Green Camp is their whole core theme is nature, which makes you think they're going to be a bunch of like hippies. But when it comes down to it, the main theme of nature is actually survival of the fittest. Their main like kind of idea is if you die or if you don't make it, then you weren't strong enough to survive. They're like the biggest camp. They have more people in their camp than any other camp. And I said camp a lot there. Blah. If they see a big battle happening outside between a couple of camps, they'll hold off until all the camps are kind of tuckered out and taking loads of losses. Then they'll just send all their soldiers out, mop up the mess, and just reap the spoils. I think it's such a weird counterpoint for like, ooh, the beauty of nature, with if you're not strong enough to defend yourself, we're gonna beat the shit out of you. But in saying that, if you go up to Green Camp and you manage to get in, they are the soundest bunch of lads. They're all so nice. Okay, so I'm not super knowledgeable on the rest of these, so I'm just gonna try power through. Blue Camp is considered the party camp. It's main theme is freedom, but it tends to have like this whole like maritime type, seaworthy, sea captain type feel to it. So it's basically full of pirates, and they're more about like do whatever you want, it doesn't matter, which tends to result in them being really undisciplined and partying every night and then being too hungover to fight properly the next day. So whenever anyone puts Blue Camp under siege, it tends to be just nearly this jokey type battle where like they'll be throwing fish at you and stuff like that. Again, Blue Camp would be one of the ones I'd be tempted to stay in just because it seems like so much fun. So Grey Camp tend to be more about like learning. The theme I guess for their camp is like wisdom, and tends to be a lot of like scholars and like bookish type people, I guess. Don't know a whole lot about them. Something to do with owls, I think, as well. I'm getting very dark. Let me change this real quick. Depending on how I organize these clips though, it might get dark again and go bright again because I'm bad at editing. Okay, so then there's Silver Camp, which is kind of like a mixture of grey and gold, I guess. They tend to be like chivalry and I guess kind of an honor theme as well. So it tends to be like a lot of knights and like I guess Templars and stuff like that. Again, not a camp I know a whole lot about. And then there's Chaos Camp, which is kind of hard to explain properly in that a lot of people just presume it's like the evil camp. And it does tend to be filled with like people who like playing like f***ed up demon characters and like monsters and stuff like that, which is kind of awesome sometimes, just seeing some of the things people come up with. But it's more, I think, about like disorder or disorganized chaos. There we go. Then there's the Orc Camp, which is like everyone's favorite camp, and it's player organized, weirdly enough. The Orc Camp would tend to be pretty secretive. I don't think they even let people into film anymore. I got some really good footage from the Orc Camp years ago. I'll put it here or in the description below if you're on your phone. Like the people who play orcs tend to be pretty full on with the way they play the game, in that ideally they would like to fight everyone like super full on, like full contact, knocking each other out, beating the shit out of each other, which some people are super into. And a lot of times they won't come out until nighttime because they have like these full face prosthetics and stuff on that look awesome but are super hot during the day. So they can only really afford to come out at night when it's cool enough for them to run around and fight properly. They are actually like a little bit scary. Most of them are like really big guys and they're like giving it socks and they're like roaring and screaming and everything when you're fighting them. Yeah, I guess last note about the Orc Camp, the orcs are awesome. There's the Camp of the Tribes, which I've been there a couple of times now and I'm still not super sure what their main theme is. Like the main groups that the tribes seems to consist of is like Scottish clans and like Irish groups and kind of caveman type, tribal type, native type people. They also have like this market that they do, I think every day, and they tend to like party at night and stuff like that. So even though I don't know a whole lot about the tribes necessarily, I have been super impressed with whatever I've seen from them, and I definitely recommend going up and checking them out. Okay, so a group I probably know the least about is the Mercenary Camp. To be honest, I didn't even know they were their own camp, but yeah, you can effectively hire an entire camp to fight for you if you have enough money. The only main group I know from the Mercenary Camp is the Lanskinets, which are just like lancers. There's fucking loads of them. They're actually pretty good at fighting and stuff. It's not just like, oh yeah, we'll give it a go if you give us money. You'll actually have a good chance of winning if you hire them. They take in-game money for their services, and I think they have a cannon and stuff as well, so you could actually hire them and lay siege to a camp just totally on your own because you have the money. They also tend to have these weird costumes that really emphasizes their wangs. It's kind of funny and a little weird, but just be ready for that if you're going to hire them. Then there is the town, which I would count it as its own camp because you need a different kind of ticket to be there. It has its own kind of military force a little bit with the town guard. You're not allowed like fight in the streets or anything, or the town guard will come beat the shit out of you. There's also like an arena up there where you can fight and like win money and stuff like that. Obviously the town has all this cool shit in it, like proper blacksmiths and like places you can buy armor and weapons and food, and everything you kind of need will be in the town. But there's also like a lot of little quests and stuff you can find in there. Guys, it's getting real dark out. This video is probably a huge mess, but if you have liked it, please hit the like button. If you maybe want to show your friends this video, you can hit the share button and share across some social media platforms or something. I would actually super appreciate that, to be honest. If there's something you'd like to add or ask another question or something, you can leave a comment down below as well. You can find me on Twitter and on Facebook and stuff like that. So that's kind of everything I could think of right now. It's kind of starting to rain, but thank you guys so much for watching.